वरना तू भी डिसअपियर हो जाएगा अपने बाप की तरह।
मैं खुद के अपने भाई गायब है कई महीनों से।
डिसअपियर्ड लोगों की बीवियां आधी बेवा कहलाती हैं यहाँ, हाफ विडोज।
Before I made my early two films, Macbeth and Othello, nobody used to touch Shakespeare because literature in general all over the world is taking as a boring material to make films on. So once I made Macbeth and Othello, and they were appreciated a lot. So many other filmmakers tried to make and trying to adapt Shakespeare into Bollywood film.
In fact, even Hamlet was.
And that's why, I thought that, it's Shakespeare is only my property, only I can go and touch. But when I read in the newspaper that two other filmmakers are trying to make Hamlet, so I thought this is time for me to wake up and complete my trilogy. Otherwise, everybody would have made Hamlet or King Lear or Richard III. So that's where, I woke up and said, I want to complete my trilogy.
When you're playing Hamlet, this is an adaptation, right? So actually I'm playing Haider. I'm not really playing Hamlet. So after going through the process of understanding to whatever extent one can the things that Vishal sir as a filmmaker wants to take from Hamlet and bring into Haider, the real journey that you need to begin is to find Haider, because that's the character that you're meant to play. And that was the journey that we tried to focus on. The fact that it's based in Kashmir. I don't think there have been too many instances where the protagonist of a film has been a local Kashmiri, and Kashmir is something which is a huge part of our history, and it's still extremely relevant and spoken about in terms of the conflict that lies within Kashmir. So to understand how to play a local from Kashmir was the first thing to start. To understand the mental process of the character was something that one needed to do together. I think it was a journey that we needed to take together, and I depended a lot on him for it, because I think he has a lot of understanding of pretty much most of Shakespeare's work, because he has read much more of it than I have, to be honest. So I depended on him a lot, but it was a process for sure.
Yeah, there were many difficulties, like to start with how to interpret ghost, and that's what I have been doing in my previous adaptations, that I used to interpret my characters like in a different way. Like the witches from Macbeth are in present day they're the cops in my adaptation. So here I think the challenge, the most challenging thing was how to interpret the ghost, and that was the most fascinating thing. And I have added a prologue to what is there in the play. What is said in the first scene we see is like a half an hour, and sometimes what is there like for 4 pages in Hamlet, and we see I pass it on in 4 lines. So those kind of I made the material completely my own and then expressed it on the screen.
I also think, sorry, I'm just adding in, but I also feel that why Vishal sir is the most has probably been the most successful filmmaker in India to have adapted Shakespeare is because he writes his own lines, and I think Shakespeare is known for his dialogue and for his lines, and it's really very, very, very challenging to rewrite them in another language without losing the flavor or the finesse that the original lines have. And I think that to me is one of the most exciting, because I've viewed his last 2 films and I've been a huge fan of those 2 films, and that to me was really a huge victory on his part to adapt it into Hindi and to bring it out in a way where you can still enjoy the flavor. Was absolutely fantastic.
Hello? Hello? Mic testing 1 2 3. Hello? आवाज आ रही है आप लोगों को? Hello, 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 hello.